And this is how I do pour coffee. So as you can see, I've got my grounds here. Came out of my little conical burr hand grinder here, which actually works pretty well. Over here we've got some water getting ready. Now we're looking for 200 degrees, so we're not quite there yet. But we're getting there. Yeah, and then there's my Hario V60 paper filter. And down below, that is just a Mr. Coffee brand Carafe. And what I'm shooting for is I've got 22 grams of coffee, and we're right up to about the 4-cup mark, which is almost exactly 500 milliliters. And I don't time it or any of that stuff. I don't really care how long it takes for the water to drip through. But I do weigh my coffee, and I do pour it to a certain volume. So kind of looking for that ratio to be right. Okay, we're 195. And when that hits 200, we're ready to rock. You can absolutely grind your coffee in a electric whipping blade type grinder. It's supposed to be better to use a burr grinder. It's a little bit more manual effort, but I don't really mind it. All right, there's 200. So we're going to kill it. Grab it. Now I like to pre-wet the filter, and I don't know, it's supposed to take out some paper flavor. It might do that. It makes me feel good to do it. It also pre-warms the Hario little ceramic cup here. I don't really know how important that is. Probably not very. I fucked up my filter there. All right. So of course we're gonna pour that water off because we don't want that shit in there. Right. Bring it back, set it down. Put this thing on here. And we pour the coffee in. Just dump it in like that. I like to give it a little shake to level it off. All right, now step one, we're gonna pour in a little bit of water, and we're gonna bloom this coffee. I'll show you what I mean by that. Not real precise. All right, now right away you can see it bubbling. The idea with the bloom here is it's giving off carbon dioxide gas. It's supposed to make the coffee less bitter, to just let this stuff come out before you start brewing. You can see there's a lot of it coming out actually. So we'll do this about 30 seconds. And see a little bit comes through the bottom, but that's not a big deal. Should also mention I'm using fresh roasted beans. I go to a coffee roaster once a week at a pound, and it's totally worth it. Actually, if you use just store-bought stuff, it doesn't bloom like this. It doesn't really do any of this stuff. All right, so using my non-gooseneck regular old kettle, I'm going to start pouring. See if I can hold my phone and pour this shit at the same time. Here we go. Now you see all that bubbling, all those little micro bubbles and all that? That does not happen if you use store-bought. If you throw some Folgers in there, it's not going to do that. This stuff was roasted this week. So again, the most important thing, forget about grinders and ratios and all that stuff, is use fresh coffee. That's what I've found. I'm not spending $60 on a gooseneck kettle because this one pours perfectly fine for me. I mean, you can see it's a pretty good little stream of water coming out there. And I don't really have a methodology. I pour and wait. You know what I mean? I don't want to overfill it. But I don't get too crazy with the methodology. You just kind of pour, let it go down, pour a little more, do some little circles like that. Seems to come out pretty good. So there it is. And I guarantee you do this, you will have a much better cup of coffee than a drip brewer. Even though it seems like the exact same thing. You know, we're just putting hot water through coffee grounds and it's dripping down into a carafe. For whatever reason, this Hario system definitely makes better coffee than Mr. Coffee here did. That's it.